Time for Producer's Picks.
And now, the feature so many of our listeners wait for each day. Producer's Picks.
This is the part of the show where Jared Diglio, my producer, picks his favorite stories and he shares them with us. Jared, take it away.
All right. I will have a Star Trek / William Shatner free day for you today, Grace.
Oh, wow.
Happy Tuesday.
I thought you were about to lead with Star Trek and William Shatner. It's like, no more.
Do have a little PSA out of the gate. Fiat Chrysler, who makes the Ram heavy-duty diesel Ram truck, they are recalling the 2021 pickup, the model, because the pickup and chassis cab trucks have electrical heater relays that can short, overload, or in rare cases, cause fires. So if you bought a 2021 heavy-duty diesel Ram truck, check on the recall, just to be safe.
Okay, got it.
But a lot of contractors around here, a lot of people who need to carry a lot of equipment, a lot of trucks. So if you bought the diesel, check out the recall just in case.
I love a good truck. I can't lie to you. I used to think trucks were kind of silly because I feel like unless you really need it for work, people are always going to ask you to move stuff for them on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Can I borrow your truck? But after years of asking people to borrow their trucks, it'd be really nice to have a truck. Comes in handy.
Bad news for Kenny Chesney fans.
Oh, no, what?
Kenny Chesney announced yesterday that he will not be returning to Gillette Stadium this summer, and he is postponing the tour to 2022. He wrote, quote, "With all the progress being made around the pandemic, there is still too much unknown. We're moving to 2022, where I feel better about us all being together safely," unquote.
Womp womp.
All current tickets will be honored for the rescheduled date and showtime, though. So if you were going to go see Kenny Chesney at Gillette, sorry, the pandemic pushed it off another year.
Yeah, we have a vaccine, and I don't understand this desire to keep moving the goalposts. Like nothing's going to happen again normal. We got to wait another year. We have to break out of this. And I think it was David Marcus who said, it's not enough just to slink off out of these cages we've put around ourselves. We really have to shatter them. And we have to say, we're going back to normal life. The longer we wait, the worse it's going to get. And someone else said, I think it was a psychiatrist, she said, anxiety can be habit forming. And I read that and I thought it's really true. You know, if you start to get really worried and you start an anxious habit, it can take over. And we've let this thing take over.
Also, more bad news for Dr. Oz fans, if there are any of you. I don't know if you saw this, Grace.
I did, because I watch Jeopardy every night.
Yes, Dr. Oz was among I think there were 5 or 6 people that were going to host Jeopardy in order to basically audition to take over for Alex Trebek.
And they already had Katie Couric for a few weeks, and they had, I think, the producer of Jeopardy for a few weeks, and this week was the first start of Dr. Oz. I watched the episode last night.
Well, 500 past Jeopardy contestants have petitioned the show to remove Dr. Oz as a guest host.
Once again, I go back to my point, which is, do we not have better things to do? Can people prioritize? There's nothing else on your to-do list than taking down Dr. Oz, who's hosting Jeopardy. By the way, Jared, just to say, I did watch Jeopardy, and it's hard not to judge the hosts because Alex Trebek was obviously the best. Dr. Oz was not my favorite. There's a certain cadence that I like and, enunciation. I know that's funny coming from me because I'm not great at enunciating. But I didn't think Dr. Oz hit the nail on the head. But I don't think he should be booted from it. Let him finish off like the week or something, whatever it is.
Yes, well, in a letter to Medium, the 500 people, former Jeopardy contestants, put on the petition that, quote, "When we heard Dr. Mehmet Oz was slated to be a guest host, agreement came quickly. We were opposed. Dr. Oz stands in opposition to everything that Jeopardy stands for."
Oh, give me a break.
Throughout his nearly 2 decades on television, he has used his authority as a doctor to push harmful ideas on the American public. in stark contrast with his oath to first do no harm. Unquote.
Add this to the list of reasons we are becoming the softest country in the world. People need to figure out what is worth worrying about. The host of Jeopardy is not... The host of Jeopardy... What was the other story I read today about cancel culture? It was something even stupider. Oh, the razor company. Harry's Razors. This is not real problems, guys. Ugh. I didn't think that was going to get me so mad because I'm not even a huge Dr. Oz fan. But he's just like a guy doing a job for 2 weeks. They're not going to pick him, okay? They're not going to pick him. If anything, they'd probably pick Katie Couric. And she did a good job, I'm not going to lie. It's a hard job, Jared. I'm not saying it's the hardest job in the world, but...
I would agree.
You got to have a certain something. And I thought Katie did a better job than Dr. Oz. But to sign a petition, it's like lame city population U.
Well, it's human nature is to overcome struggles. And let's face it, in the lack of struggle, people are going to find things to struggle with. Like in the 30s, there was the Depression. You didn't have time to worry about this crap. World Wars, Korea, Vietnam, the 70s, you didn't have time to worry about all this crap. But things have been relatively easy in America for the past 20 to 30 years. So people are now focusing on things to try and struggle with. And that's what brought us here.
I agree with you to an extent because I do think the social justice warriors, they want to feel like they're part of something bigger. But it's still not an excuse to behave like this, to be spoiled brats constantly throwing temper tantrums. Join a softball team. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself? Join a little basketball team or, make a painting, do some arts and crafts.
Go outside, run around, burn off some energy.
Yeah,
drink from a hose.
Paint your house. Learn to bake. Contribute something to society. Plant a tree. But leave Dr. Oz alone, damn it. Leave Dr. Oz alone. At least he's hosting. He's trying. He's out there. He's the man in the arena, dare I say.
I promised no Star Trek, but I said nothing about Star Wars.
Oh, do we have to start putting in asterisks on this?
But not that Star Wars. This night, March 23rd in 1983, President Ronald Reagan called upon the scientific community in our country to develop defensive shield to render strategic nuclear ballistic missiles impotent and obsolete.
That's cool.
And that was the beginning of the Star Wars program, as they called it, which basically never happened. I think maybe Trump might have been trying to incorporate some of that into Space Force. But Star Wars, President Reagan's Star Wars, this day, 1983.
Very cool.
Another this day, I believe it was, 50 years ago today, the Boston Patriots became the New England Patriots.
Ah, that was the day that would live in infamy for Ed Markey.
Yes, a short-lived, I'm trying to remember, I couldn't find it in the article. There was I think it was about a 2-week span where they changed from the Boston Patriots to the Bay State Patriots.
Ugh.
But they put up on the banner BS Patriots. Oh. And then when they put up the banner, the marketing team was like, all right, hang on a second. We gotta rethink the BS Patriots. So they came up with the idea for the New England Patriots. So 50 years ago today, the New England Patriots, 50 years ago yesterday, the New England Patriots were born.
Ed Markey's like, it feels like just yesterday.
Yes.
I could have sworn.
Well, he's relatively new to Massachusetts.
That's true. They're new arrivals.
And a little bit heavier, the jury is set for the Derek Chauvin trial. The trial will start Monday.
Okay, yeah, there's going to be a lot of updates with that.
Yeah, but the trial will begin Monday. The panel includes 15 jurors. 12 will deliberate. There are 2 alternates, and there's an alternate, which the judge has said they will excuse the 15th juror if, when opening arguments begin, the other jurors are able to serve.
I always find it amazing with these really high-profile trials that they can find people who have no bias or have not heard anything about it. Those people kind of amaze me.
Especially when they live, you assume they live in Minneapolis, St. Paul, or that area that was around them. Their city was burning around them.
I wonder if they know something about it, but they're just the least biased of the groups. Of let's say they get 50 people in there, they get 12 who are not as invested in the stories as everyone else. But otherwise, like, how do you not know? All right, we good? That was Producer's Picks. We'll be back on the other side with Howard Lawrence Carr. Do not go anywhere. This is the Grace Curley Show.
She's never held office, but she paid the whiskey priest's monthly rent once. She's Grace Curley.
This hour of the Grace